Hey Soloers, I'm Player 1 from Too Much Single Player, and this is the 5th episode in the Magic Duels Battle for Zendikar guide and gameplay video. This week I'll be giving you a summary of the story based on all the information I could find regarding the Battle for Zendikar and where it stands leading up to Oath of the Gatewatch, short of actually reading the novels. A long time ago, Zendikar was a wild and untamed plane, full of life and a volatile power which caused bouts of extreme weather and abrupt destruction. This prevented the rise of any real civilizations. It was a beautiful and primal place. Then, several thousand years ago, great beasts from the void of space attacked with only one purpose: to consume. 3 titans and their brood, known as the Eldrazi, traveled from plane to plane, consuming life and mana, until all was drained away. 3 planeswalkers stood in their way, however: the Lithomancer Nahiri, Ugin the Spirit Dragon, and the vampire Sorin Markov. Together they planned a trap involving the construction of a network of aligned stone hedrons connected with ley lines surrounding the entire plane of Zendikar and focused on a key hedron known as the Eye of Ugin. The trap forced the 3 Eldrazi titans, Ulamog, Emrakul, and Kozilek, and their broods to take physical form and remain in torpor on Zendikar for as long as the hedron network stood. Nahiri stayed behind on Zendikar to act as a warden while the other planeswalkers departed. For thousands of years, roaming the wilderness of the prison she had helped create, she stood vigil, until one day the wicked dragon planeswalker Nicol Bolas manipulated Sarkhan Vol, Jace Beleren, and Chandra Nalaar into inadvertently severing enough connections in the network to allow the Eldrazi spawn to begin making their way back into the plane, causing Nahiri to leave in search of Ugin and Sorin for fear of the titans being loosed back onto existence. While she was gone, though, the Eldrazi spawned zerged Zendikar, causing untold havoc and destruction. During this time, regaining his mind after so long being controlled by Nicol Bolas, Sarkhan Vol returned to Zendikar and sought to make amends for his past misdeeds. Finally realizing the devastation he was partly responsible for, Sarkhan sought the aid of a local planeswalker named Nissa Ravain to close the breach in the network and restore a semblance of peace to the plane. Being a resident of Zendikar, Nissa only wanted these monsters gone from her home. So she followed Sarkhan to the Eye of Ugin, and instead of tightening and strengthening the prison's bonds, she decided to break them and free the titans in hopes they would simply leave after being trapped for so long, and her world would be safe once again from the looming threat of annihilation. The Eldrazi did not leave, however. They stayed, and they fed. They began to tear through the plane, its inhabitants, and all of the resources Zendikar had to offer, regaining some of their atrophied strength. It's at this point Gideon Jura shows up on Zendikar to assist Chandra Nalaar in dealing with the untamed lands in order to access the powerful mana it holds. But they were separated upon arrival, and instead Gideon found himself completely caught up in the raging Eldrazi battle, and doing his best to save the small settlements and residents of the plane. Squaring off against the Eldrazi titan Ulamog proved too much for Gideon to handle, so he made a tactical retreat to Ravnica to regroup and gather assistance. Here he convinced the Mind Mage Jace Beleren to join him, and the two returned to Zendikar together in order to face down the Eldrazi threat rampaging the plane. They arrived in Seagate and made a stand against the Eldrazi, but were overpowered and only able to fight long enough for some survivors to make it to safety before having to back off. Here at Seagate, they met Nissa Ravain, the elementalist whose hubris loosed the Titans from their prison. From here, they split up, each with a different goal in mind. Nissa traveled to Bala Ged in search of the Khalni Heart to reignite her connection to the planes and augment her elemental powers, which she then used to best Ob Nixilis before returning. Jace set out to study the broken hedron network, which led him to the Eye of Ugin, where Ugin himself was already there working to repair it. Ugin told Jace of the network of hedrons acting as a prison that drains the Eldrazi of power and holds them in near stasis. Jace, realizing that trapping them was only a start, decided he needed to find a way to end the Eldrazi threat once and for all. Gideon stayed behind at Seagate to lead the embattled citizens. While here, Gideon found more and more allies of all types joining his fight. He was soon leading a mixed contingent of vampires, royal mages, goblins, elves, Kiora's merfolk, and even Nissa's elementals. They managed to win back some ground and reclaim Seagate, causing some much-needed jubilation. That was short-lived, however, as word spread that the Eldrazi titan Ulamog was headed straight towards them. They set their defenses, fortified the walls, and prepared as best they could for the impending nightmare. It was then that Jace returned with a plan to restart the hedron network with Nissa's help. Gideon managed to lure Ulamog into a ring of aligned hedrons, trapping the Titan once again. Just then, having hunted down Nissa, Ob Nixilis arrived seeking revenge for her slight against him. He began to siphon power from the network which had been imbued by Jace and Nissa, causing it to shift out of alignment, freeing the weakened Ulamog. From his siphoning, Ob Nixilis was able to gain enough power to reignite his Planeswalker spark, and summon Kozilek from beneath Zendikar's surface. Now with 2 Eldrazi Titans freed, countless Eldrazi spawns swarming, and a reignited Ob Nixilis, the situation couldn't be more dire for our heroes, the Plane of Zendikar, or the entire multiverse. We'll find out if anyone survives in Oath of the Gatewatch. Next week we'll take a look at the decks and booster packs available with this expansion, and in 2 weeks I'll be doing an Oath of the Gatewatch lead-up, which has a pre-release date of January 22nd, 2016. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at TMSP_P1. Game on, and I'll solo you later.